We go out to Vancouver and join TSN 1040's Rick Dhaliwal. Rick, appreciate you squeezing us in on a hectic morning, I'm sure, for you out in BC. But Claybrooks out as the Lions head coach. What do you make of this first reaction here?
Well, first of all, you guys make great points, all valid. One thing you guys got to realize out here is the season ticket base, the fans, they got to find a way to get people in that stadium, okay? And the owner, he's trying to sell the team. He's got to sell season tickets. I don't see this team being sold anytime soon. But I did hear chatter last couple of weeks. It's picked up, and I think one of the guys in Saskatoon, Gary Drummond, I think he's one of the guys that's really starting to pick it up in terms of buying the BC Lions. I hear a lot of chatter about him and his interest in the Lions. So there's so many things that play out here. There's the ownership. There's the sale of the team. You know, there's Ed Hervey. You know, there's Claybrooks. Hey, when you win 5 times, you know, you're 1-10 start, you're 0-10 in your division. Boy, it's tough to sell that to the public. And there's so many things that play out here. But I think the sale of the team, I think David Braley, he's still got his, you know, he still owns his team. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're here 12 months from now still talking about owning this team. But there's a lot of stuff going out in Vancouver. And the attendance, the record, the season tickets, the ownership, the sale. Guys, there's so many things going on out here in Vancouver.
You talk about more changes coming. I know you know that ownership situation is part of it. But do you see a lot more changes now coming to the staff? Ed Hervey, is Ed Hervey safe right now? What are you hearing in terms of more changes?
I've heard Ed Hervey's safe. I hear the assistants are being talked to right now. I wonder about player director, player personnel, Torrey Hunter. I don't know what's going to go on there. You know, when Wally Bono got all the accolades, and he was a Hall of Famer, obviously, but behind Wally was a guy named Roy Shivers. And you guys know Roy really well. Before Roy came here, was a guy named Bob Obilovich. These guys went down to the USA. They found good football players. Wally got all the credit, but I'm going to tell you, Roy Shivers and Bob Obilovich, you know what? Right now, the Lions don't have a Shivers. They don't have an Obilovich. They haven't found players down south. They haven't done a good job in recruiting. They haven't done a good job in scouting. And I think that's what they need to improve. And, you know, Ed Hervey's Ed Hervey. But hire some people that can go down south and find some good football players.
When you think about this head coaching vacancy now, I know you talk about Rick Campbell being high up on that list of replacements. Who else might be high on Ed Hervey's list? We've heard Jason Moss's name come about because he might be let go in Edmonton. Is that a guy that would excite the fan base in BC to be reunited with Ed Hervey, or do we want to move on from Jason Moss?
Okay, look, I think Rick Campbell is going to be very high on the list. He's got a history with Rick Lalisheur, the president here in BC. I think they go back to their days in Edmonton. Mike Benavides is a guy, I think his name's going to pop up in Vancouver. But Jason Moss is not what the Lions need. Jason Moss, he's not really great with the media. He seems to be cranky all the time. This guy never smiles, ever. And in this market right now, I don't think Jason Moss is the answer. I think Rick Campbell, the way he conducts himself on and off the field, he's good with the media. I think that might be the guy. But I'm hearing Rick Campbell, if they make the changes in Edmonton, you know, it might come down to who offers more money, BC or Edmonton.
Yeah, really. Yeah, and hey, I'm a Jason Moss fan as an offensive coordinator. I think he should be an offensive coordinator. I think that's his lane. And I think he could be one of the best in the country and not have to deal with the media and deal with the entire team and all and being the leader, but he could run a really good offense. So I'm with you. I don't think he's what BC needs.
And you know what? You got to be careful with Ed Hervey. You can't just bring everybody from Edmonton to Vancouver. I understand when new GMs get hired, they bring in people that they're comfortable with. But it just seems like all Ed's ever done here in Vancouver is just bring every single buddy from Vancouver. I don't get that. You know what? How about hiring the best person available? You know, it just seems like, okay, you were with me in Edmonton, so you come to Vancouver. I think you got to look outside the box. This is a very important hire for the BC Lions because they can't afford another 5-13 season. because they were down to 15 to 19, 1,000 fans. It's going to get really bad here. It's just like Toronto and Vancouver. It's a tough sell. Getting people to BC Place is a tough sell. This is a Canucks hockey. Hockey matters here 24/7. This isn't like the Prairies where you guys got great attendance and Edmonton, Winnipeg, Calgary. This is a tough sell in this market. They got to find a way to get the young people to go to Lions games. They're not getting the young people to go to games. It's a big time problem.
Do you think winning is enough? Like just having a successful team on the field would start to at least get guys like in seats, would that like start to alleviate the problem here? Is it just that or is it more to it than that?
There's more, because go back to 2015. The Lions were 12-6, remember, with Jonathan Jennings. They still couldn't. They couldn't get a ton of people in the stadium. This is a different city. It's a different makeup of a city. Listen, I went to Lions games back at Empire Stadium with Roy DeWalt and Mervyn Swerve Fernandez.
Oh, yeah.
I've been a CFL Lions guy for a long time. But this city is a different, it's like Toronto. But we don't have the Blue Jays and the Raptors. But the Lions were 12-6 with Jonathan Jennings, and they couldn't get 25, 30. You know what? It's a tough sell in this city right now. We have our soccer team's got young kids that go to the game. The Lions, they can't seem to get the young people at BC Place Stadium, and that to me is a big time problem. Look, the Canucks have made the playoffs for 4 years. Lions have had 4 years to take advantage of that. It looks to me like the Canucks are going to make the playoffs this year. I know it's early, but once that hockey team takes off, your Lions are going to be on page 700. And that's just not good. So
you mentioned Empire though. Like I remember the games at Empire Life. The atmosphere at Empire was
cool.
so much different than BC Place, and like I'm not sure why it didn't translate. I'm not sure, but like I just remember it was so much more fun playing there. It was so much more lively.
But don't forget, in the mid '80s, Don Matthews, there was Cal Murphy. There were some Western finals in Vancouver, 55, 60,000. A place was packed. And back then in the '80s, the Lions were more popular than the Canucks. But now this team has gone through a really messy 4 or 5 years. But people here want a new owner, but they better realize that if they didn't have an owner with deep pockets, we'd be in the situation Montreal's in right now. The Alouettes, the owners walked away, and the league took over. If that deep, David Braley's got deep pockets. He can hang on to this team. He can pay the bills, and that's important to me. People think the ownership change is going to make a big difference. I don't think so. I think they got to find a way to get people back to that stadium. Now, I thought Mike Riley, holy smokes, that was a great signing. People are going to flock to the stadium. Didn't happen.
I agree with you, Rick. I think it's not only a BC problem, but I think it's a league-wide problem that they need to get younger fans in the door. So I guess my question now is, what next? I mean, we're just a couple of days away from the regular season. Is this something, I see Ed Hervey's going to talk to the media here in just over an hour. Is this something that we expect to happen quickly, or do you suspect that this could drag on and take their time and wait until, as we get out closer to Christmas time here for a hiring of a new head coach?
I would personally, I'm going to tell you right now, they got to hire the new coach, and because they got season tickets to sell. I think their marketing, I think they're going to roll out their new marketing plan here very soon. David Braley's got season tickets to sell, folks. How about getting Rick Campbell, lock this guy up, pay him the bucks. It's a feel-good story. And then, Ed Hervey's got a big off-season. Ed Hervey cannot afford another bad off-season, because I don't care if Ed Hervey signed a new 2-year deal like I heard he did, and because I think that 2-year deal is controlled by the BC Lions. Hey, guys, in the CFL, you can't break a contract in the NHL or the NBA, the NFL, but you guys know in the CFL, it's hey, listen, here's the deal. We're making a change, and that's it. But Ed Hervey, this is a big off season for him. I think they got to hire the coach right away and install some confidence, consumer confidence in the market. But if you keep waiting and waiting and waiting, I don't think that's a good idea. But I do believe the Eskimos are going to be after Rick Campbell big time. I do believe that's their guy. And if and that's a big if Jason Moss is let go. but I got a feeling Rick Campbell is going to end up in either Vancouver or Edmonton. But I say do it now, guys, because you know what? This team needs a feel-good story because it's been pretty bad this year. 5 wins, that doesn't do it. You know, attendance is down, season ticket base. You know, when Bobby Ackles was here, you know, it was Bobby, Wally Buono, Dave Dickinson, Casey Printers. They had this city, all 4 of them. They had it. And the season ticket base was at 21-22. I can't tell you today if the season ticket base is at 5,000. I hardly doubt it. But I'm going to tell you, they got to get back to those days.
Very, very, very great update, Rick. Appreciate this. We'll be watching your Twitter feed closely and your updates on TSN 1040 as this develops. But you're right. Do it quick. Right now, you've got the week at least. If Edmonton happens to win, you got 2 weeks. A jump start on the Edmonton Eskimos.
Hey, absolutely, guys. Hey, pleasure to be on your show. And don't forget, the Lions gave you your starting quarterback. Don't ever forget that.
Hey, we got you.
Hey, of all the multiple stupid mistakes this organization's done, they handed 2 teams starting quarterbacks in the last year. Think about that for a second.
Yeah, I can imagine. We've gone through our fair share of heartbreak over here. So good to have one go our way. We'll take the win. All right. Rick Dhaliwal, appreciate this, my man, and all the best.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.